Sir, we're approaching a podcast. It's part of the Legion Academy collective called Dice Time.
That's it. Bob Swaim and Ben Jetron are there.
My lord, there are several Star Wars Legion podcasts. It could be any number.
That is the one. Admiral, set your course for Dice Time.
Hello and welcome to Dice Time. I'm Bob Swaim in an undisclosed location in Alexandria, Indiana. And yes, it's a different one from last time. And over there is...
Ben Jetron, coming to you from the regular, same old place in Bloomington.
Boring.
Boring.
On this episode of Dice Time, we are going to cover some of the reveals and stuff from Gen Con. You didn't remember Gen Con. It didn't happen this year, except it was virtual, and it was way different than what we're used to. We're in Indiana, so we actually physically get to go just about every year. But this year it wasn't bad. It was a good what they could do with what we had to work with. So if you're listening thinking we're going to talk about ARC Troopers or Clan Ren or Inferno Squad or Commando Droids, well, that's going to be our next episode. Today, Ben and I are going to cover Maul, not Darth Maul, just Maul, and the Droid Specialists. And I'll be covering Anakin and the Clone Specialists. Then we're going to finish up with some of the stuff that we're thinking that the mystery releases are going to be for Rebels and Empire. Unless you have something else you want to throw it in there, man, Ben, take it away.
I mean, I'm gonna just point out first thing that it does say Darth Maul on the box.
Does it? Does it say
Just
Darth Maul? I
saying.
thought it just said Maul.
It says Maul on his card, but the box says Darth Maul.
Okay, well, that could be
Interesting.
fun.
Interesting, I know. Speculation time. No, not yet.
Time. Dun,
Not
dun,
yet.
dun.
No speculation for us yet. Well, Bob, I watched both of the streams. I'm sure you did as well.
Exactly.
And I didn't get as many releases as I had hoped, but you know what? It's 2020. I should have expected a few fewer.
Hey, we got
then we did.
stuff.
We got tons last year, and so I think I was just over speculating how much we were going to get this year. I even said in our last episode at the end, I was just like, there's going to be a ton of releases. There was 4. And there's going to be a ton to talk about. And we got 4 cards. But there's been a lot of stuff that they've talked about in between and while they showed those things off that gives us lots to talk about. But today's just a bonus episode, so we're going to try and keep it short. And let's go ahead and, I'll dive into the Separatist side here. Not because the Separatists are my favorite, but because the Republic is Bob's. So, let's jump into Maul first, shall we? Like the big bad reveal of Darth Maul himself. His sculpt looks amazing. Can I just say that? All the different poses.
I love it. We get 3. That's cool.
Yeah. So normally, what I like to do is I would normally like magnetize those arms. I'm still debating if I want to magnetize those arms, or he comes in 3 different poses. He has. I'll just say this first. He comes with more of a grinning, teeth-bearing face, and then he's got more of a grimace in the other one. And his arm options are the lightsaber in one hand behind him, one lightsaber in the hand in front of him, and then he's got one where it's more vertical-ish, and he's holding it in both arms. Now what I was going to say was normally I would magnetize those, so I don't have to choose. But I'm kind of wondering if I just want to pick one and then save the others as bits for later if I want to make a dual-wielding Jedi or something at some point. Don't know.
And that's what's really cool about these. They're all going to come with extra parts that you can use on other, like our last episode, we were talking about Kit Bash, and that was awesome. And this actually gives you some stuff to be able to do it with.
All right, well, let's actually dive into what Maul is. So Maul is, 160 points?
160.
Much like Anakin is going to be. We haven't seen his unit card yet, but we have seen, we've heard a few things about him. So he's going to have Geo mastery, his lightsaber style. He's going to have some kind of 8 dice attack, though we don't know what kind. But it is going to be a single pool, not like a lot of people speculated, because he has 2 lightsaber ends. He's going to be like Grievous, and he's going to have like Arsenal and hit different targets. But I believe it more thematically, yes, he can take on multiple opponents at once, but I think he just focuses, I think they even said this in the stream, he kind of focuses on one target and takes them out before he moves on to the next one. So he's going to have a single attack. Bob, if you had to take a stab in the dark, what is that 8 dice attack look like to you? What colors? What are we
That's
looking
a
at?
lot of dice, dude. I'm thinking maybe double rainbow and then a couple, maybe a black and a white extra. What is that? That's 6. 3 and
Double
3,
rainbow
6.
would be.
Yeah, the double
So
rainbow
it'd be.
6.
So you're saying we're getting this down, Bob, because there's money. There's money if we're right.
Yeah, that's true. I would say double rainbow.
I'm putting $50 down right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Really? Do you have $50? Because you got more money than I do today. I'm saying double rainbow and a black and a white.
Okay, so 2 red, 3 black, 3 white.
Correct.
That's your guess.
That's
Okay.
my guess.
That's notable.
That
I
gives him a
think
good
I'm
hit.
going. I think I'm gonna go 3 red, 3 black, 2 white.
That's awful powerful, but he was an awful powerful dude.
Yeah, no, he's gonna be a scary
about
guy.
10
So I mean,
seconds.
yeah, he's gonna be scary. I think that gives you the guaranteed like 3 hits and then some 50-50 play and then some white dice tacked on, so it'll be very swingy. Because as they did say, these are some high risk, high reward characters. So what I heard was, Rebel players, come. This is your chance to come join the new factions, because if you love high risk, high reward stuff, then you've probably been playing Rebels this whole time.
The whole time, because that's all they are, man. You're either going to do really good or really bad, just like Han Solo said. How we doing? He said same as always, and then that bad. Well, somebody wasn't rolling their dice right.
Oh yeah. Well, the aside from that, I mean, obviously he's gonna have jump, right? I don't know if they said that or not, but I'm sure he will.
He's got to have
and
jump.
some kind of block and deflect. I'm guessing just from just normal lightsaber stuff, unless that's going to be baked into Juyo, but I doubt it, because Juyo is very offensive based. I'm curious if they're going to have like block and deflect. I'm sure they will. Never mind. Dumb point. Aside from that, he's going to have 3 command cards, 2 of which are 1 pips, and then 1 is a 2 pip. And I didn't hear it mentioned in the in-flight report that he could take all 3 of them as 1, 2, and 3s. But I think Joe DePinto from Legion Academy said, "Oh, you're going to be able to take the 2 1 pips and the 2 pip, and then you don't have to take one of those. You don't have to take a 3 pip." And I went, "That's probably not how it's going to be."
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be. That's going to be weird.
I'm like, it's probably going to be like you have to choose between his 1 pips, or you can take both of his 1 pips, but then someone else isn't, like Grievous or Dooku isn't taking theirs. But that's what I initially thought. But they said on Saturday on the stream, you can take all 3 of his cards, and one of those 1 pips can replace one of his 3 pips.
That's
so
just nuts.
Yeah, I was going to say that is woof. That you're talking about a list that's going to be able to take 3 1 pip cards at one point. That's insane.
That's going to be scary.
Scary. And one of these 1 pip cards is the all famous Duel of the Fates. Which, Bob, if you want to talk about a cool painting, cool card art, that Duel of the Fates looks pretty sick.
I like somebody made the assumption too that since Qui-Gon's in there that we're going to get a Qui-Gon.
That's what I was going to say, because I was like, well, if we're going on the all powerful look at the card art, and if it's in the card art, it means it's coming to the game. Then we got Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon's confirmed.
Yep, there we go.
All right, so Duel of the Fates is a 1 pip that is for Maul. It only gives an order to Maul. And it reads, Maul gains 1 dodge token and disengage, which means he can freely exit a melee. While Maul is engaged with an enemy unit, that unit cannot spend aim, dodge, standby, or surge tokens.
That's amazingly cool.
In other words, there is no green for you. There's an 8 dice attack, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Except roll out of it. Yep.
Yeah, except pray. That's all you can do at this point. So, that's besides that, we've got a detachment counterpart kind of unit that's going to be coming with Maul, which are Sith probe droids. You know, those floaty droids that you saw him with in the start of episode 1 when we first saw him in the desert trying to track Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. So he's got some probe droids that he can detach with him. There are 3. They all have some flight stands and everything, and the models are fairly straightforward, unless they're going to come in 15 pieces, and then I'm going to be upset. But that's okay. I'll do it anyway.
Got
But
a
they
free flight
they
soon.
mentioned that they were going to be they are a special forces unit. I think we saw on the card with some zoom and enhance help. They are going to be a special forces unit that's going to be a detachment of Maul, and they are going to play a unique new role to the game. They're going to be able to, as I think it was put in the stream, they're going to be hanging back, but also affecting the battle. So they're going to be doing these things called observation tokens. They're going to be laying those down, I guess. I'm not sure. We're not totally sure what those are going to do, but we're going to find out in some upcoming articles in the next coming months, I'm sure. We only have so many months until Maul comes out. But my roommate, Josh, speculated, because we were tossing around ideas, what are these observation tokens going to do? And I thought maybe they would be like spotter or something, but I doubt it, because then they would just kind of give him spotter, you know? It's got to be some new thing. And my roommate was speculating maybe they're going to do something like, he's more of a 40K fan, so he was saying like, oh, you know, what I could see them doing is something like the Tau. The Tau have these things called marker lights that like reduce your cover. So like maybe they observe a target, and then if you shoot that target, they have no cover, or they have less cover or something. I'm not sure.
That could be. I remember they were flying around. Was it Mos Espa? Wherever they were having the pod race, looking around for stuff. So maybe they can get in. Maybe there's a small target, probably. So you can't really lock onto them very good until you're like one range away from them. So maybe they can do that.
E2SO's keyword. Incognito. That's the one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's either going to have incognito or inconspicuous or something, maybe.
Yeah.
So that they don't get shot up immediately.
It might
but
be
who knows?
A new keyword. You never know.
Yeah, they might have a new keyword. Who knows? How many keywords can they give to droids that say don't shoot them?
Lots.
Well, so we've got them, and we're going to be pretty much moving on from that to the Separatist generic commanders, because these are highly requested. These have been around since, the idea of these have been around since Clone Wars came out, because everyone was like, well, these did wonders for my Rebel and Imperialists. When am I going to be able to play these with my clone and my Republic list? Because those commanders are expensive.
And you know, FFG listens to us and actually usually gives us some form of what we want. So guess what? We got them.
Did we get them as early as everyone wanted? No, but if we got everything when everyone wanted, we'd have everything out by now.
Exactly.
So,
and there wasn't anything else to buy. So
it's got to take it at its own pace. So we got these Separatist Specialists. They will come with, much like all other specialists in all other factions, they will come with a leader, they will come with a medic, they will come with a mechanic, and they will come with a comm specialist. Wait a minute, you're saying? They don't come with a comm specialist? And you're right, dear listener. The droid one does not come with a comm specialist. It's going to come with a probe droid instead. That's going to act similarly to the Sith probe droids that are coming with Maul. And it's going to be a Viper probe droid that's going to do some kind of observation tokening. Other than that, we have a medic and a mechanic who are going to be neat. We got a little PK droid as the little mechanic, which, God, I love those things. I remember them from the Lego games. I don't know if you played the Lego games, Bob, but they were just adorable in that. I'm probably going to, in the Lego game, it's like their like one singular eye was made of like an orange stub. So I'm probably going to be painting the eye lens of mine orange just to call back to the Lego game PKs, because they were adorable. Other than that, we have a T-Series tactical droid, which everyone says that they hate the look of, but I like them. I think they're okay. They're pretty fun. They were funny characters in the show. At some point, I feel like we're going to see the other series of command droid, the ones that were much scarier looking, the ones that had like 3 eyes and those were way deeper in their voice.
Yeah, they were kind of spooky.
The ones that if you left me in a room with them, I'm pretty sure I would I'd be afraid for my life. Yeah. So we have those guys coming, and they're going to come with 3 new command cards that are generic for the Separatist side as well, because that's what the Rebel and Imperial ones did. So of course they are. So we're going to have 3 new command cards that any list is going to be able to take. Woohoo! The only card that we are able to see that has stats is the 1 pip, which is Mechanized Incursion. You can give it to 1 vehicle. It is a Separatist-only card, and it reads, after a friendly vehicle unit is issued an order, Choose a friendly droid trooper unit at range 1 to 2 of it, and issue that unit an order.
That is so cool.
Yes, it is very cool. There's a lot that you can do with that. You can give it to your vehicle, your AAT, for example, and you can give that give that an order, and then start your daisy chain along the way and get all your droids done that way. Another thing you could do is you could give them to your Stap Riders, because if you give an order to the Stap Riders, you're going to pass off that order from the card, but you're also going to you have coordinated droid trooper and vehicle off of the Staps. So if they get an order, you could pass one from the card, and then you could pass another order from the coordinate keyword that's on the Staps. And the other thing I thought of was maybe, if it gets really dicey, I think you can give your AAT, if you had, say, multiple vehicles in your list, you could give your AAT or your Staps or whatever you wanted to do. If you had multiples, you could give them HQ uplink and issue them an order that way, and that would still trigger the card effect. Because it just says after a friendly vehicle unit is issued an order. So you're going to give one from this card, but if you have HQ uplink on, say, another one, and say your forces are divided up, you could tap your HQ uplink, you're getting an order now, and when you're issued an order, you choose a friendly droid trooper unit at range 1 to 2 of it and issue that an order as well. So, fun plays there. Fun play. Well, I'm trying to think if there's anything... Oh, the tactical droid is 55 points, they said.
Yep.
And they showed off, in an article that they posted later, they showed off his card if you were to just attach him to a squad. So he's just T-Series tactical droid. He has his attack is a range 1 to 3, 1 red dice. He has 1 health, which some people were confused about, but it's because you could tack him onto a B2 squad. And if you did, he would not be getting the 2 health that they get. But you would lose AI attack. You gain reliable 1, which means at the start of the activation phase, you gain a surge token. And he has leader, so he becomes your leader. And he has sidearm ranged, which I'm pretty sure just means that he's not going to get whatever guns of the unit you attach him to. He's just going to have the 1 to 3 red.
That makes sense.
And he comes in at 18 points if you run him that way. So I think that just about wraps up the Separatist side of things.
Okay,
Bob, why don't you delve us... Oh, what's up?
You want the bonus points for the specialists? The medical droid.
Yes.
Where is that from? What episode? And who were the 2 Jedi in it?
Bob, I want to look smart.
I know.
Bob, I did know this.
I know you did, because I told you what it was before, so you should know.
Bob.
Yeah, time up. Lair of Grievous. The two Jedi were Kit Fisto, and it was his former apprentice. Nardo, I think. Naro. They went in to steal something from Grievous, and he actually came back. Dooku locked all the doors and told Grievous if he was any kind of a leader, he could basically take out the 2 Jedi. Grievous got his butt kicked. I believe he lost both his legs, and he ended up using the monkey bars in the ceiling to go back to his medical ward, where this droid, I forget the name, it was like 44 or something, put him back together, showing us that Grievous has a whole inventory of different body parts that can be hooked onto his frame. Everybody's wondering where that droid came from, because it's weird looking and it's like spidery, and nobody remembered that. But being a Rebel player, and not a Rebel player, a Republic player, I remembered a lot of the episodes. So
very good, Bob.
Thank you. Good. Bonus points.
Well, I think then we will move on to the Republic side.
We're
and Bob,
on the Republic side.
You can take us through the wonderful world that is Gar.
There we go. Gar. Sounds almost piratey. I like it.
Gar.
Gar. Yeah. Well, I'm going to start with Anakin. Anakin's got a couple of poses. He's only got 2. He's got one where he's got the saber behind him. He's kind of using the Force. I don't know where that comes from. I'm going to have to keep an eye out for where in the movies maybe that stance is from. He's got a more kind of whimsical look on his face there. And then his second pose is more of he's ready to go. He's had enough of the stuff. So he's got his hands on the lightsaber, 2 of them. So again, you're going to get extra arms. You're going to be able to put them in the bit box and use them for your kit bashing and stuff. He's got
2 heads as well.
He's going to be 60 points, 160 points, not 60 points. That'd be cool if he was.
Auto include 60 points.
Yeah, auto include. He's in there.
No, I was going to say real quick. He also has 2 head sculpts, which a lot of people didn't notice what they were, but they were both shown off. One of them
did look too different.
One of them was more of a grimace, and then one of them was more of a smirk.
Yep, he had that.
And a lot of people were like, "Oh, what's the other head option going to be?" And I was like, "They're right there." You can see them.
The one with 2 hands is the more tight-lipped, going to kick your butt, and the other one's kind of the smirk at you. He's going to be more offensive than Obi-Wan. He's using Dimso mastery, similar to how other pre-era forms, the Force users all had their own styles, which I think is really cool, because if you go out and look up different lightsaber forms, there's a bunch of them. Everybody had a different one. Sorsu, Makasi, Vapid, which is what Mace used, which is more of a dark side Force lightsaber form. Hopefully they'll give him that when they come out with him. The cool thing with Anakin is he's going to grow in power. So when he starts out, he might not be, exactly great, but his pip cards are going to give him powers, and they're all marked with permanency. So once you use them, he keeps these powers. The card that they showed us was his 3-pip card. It's called Hero of the Clone Wars. It's got him with his lightsaber in his 2 hands with the gonna kick your butt look on it. Kenobi's behind him. Rex is in the background firing off his DC 17s. And it's Anakin Skywalker and 2 units. So again, it's like most every 3-pip card, you're going to get 3 people out of, or 3 tokens. It starts out saying it's permanent. Anakin Skywalker gains X-Templar and Reliable 2. X-Templar allows you to share tokens. So he's going to be able to throw tokens out. So that's him, Padme, and the clones. But this, I think he can throw them out to everybody. So if you've got a Padme in your group, she can share tokens with him. Anybody can share tokens. And Reliable 2 will give him 2 Surge tokens. So already he's starting out with 2 Surge tokens that he can pass out to people. At the end of his activation, if he is not at range 1 to 2 of a friendly unit, he gains a suppression. So basically, it's surrounded by my friends, I'm great. Surrounded by nobody, I'm kind of losing a little bit of my power. Because
no, it's not. I think it's more of a he has nobody to keep him in check.
Yeah, well,
I think that's kind of what it's supposed to be.
To the dark side, so let's put it that way. There's nobody.
That's what it's supposed to represent.
His Jiminy Cricket isn't there to keep him in line.
Exactly.
Cool card, really neat art. I really love the art on that one. I love it's got all the major characters that would be out there, except for Ahsoka. If they'd have put Ahsoka in there, I'd be so happy, because that means we're getting her. But eventually,
we know we're getting her, man.
Yeah, she's going to be there.
Are you kidding me? That's going to be like, I can't imagine them coming out with another. Okay, the only other hero character I could see them coming out with before Ahsoka might be Cody. Commander Cody. There can't be many more before Ahsoka.
Yeah,
she's super highly requested.
And we'll talk.
I want her because I need to start working on Republic Ladies Night, man.
That would work great.
We'll have Padme, we'll have Ahsoka, and then we'll give whatever 3rd Jedi or whatever 3rd female that they throw into the Republic. Yeah, I feel like it could be Ayla.
Ayla would be cool.
Which if they don't end up making her or anything, I'm probably just gonna have to run Obi-Wan and then as a Ayla proxy, like a lot of people are.
Exactly. Well, that's his pip card that they showed us, which was really cool. I'm excited for this permanency and him getting stronger as he goes. I think that really plays into it. They did give us one card that's going to be in his set. It's called Offensive Stance. It'll only be used by Jedi and people that you can use the Force. At the start of your activation, you may flip this card. So it's going to be a dual-sided card. I bet you it has a defensive stance also on the other side. That's just speculation because they didn't tell us what's on the other side. On the offensive side, when you perform an aim action, gain two tokens instead of 1. You cannot spend dodge tokens. So basically, you're all into your attack. You get 2 aim tokens, so you can roll twice, which is really cool. It's only 5 points.
Yeah, and it is a training, so you do have to have a training and a Force icon.
Exactly.
You can't just have the training or the Force icon. You have to be able to have both.
Yep.
It doesn't take up both. It's just it takes up the training, but you need to also have a Force icon on your card to qualify to take it.
So it's like it says, it's kind of cool because you're all in to go after. I wonder if the opposite side, which is probably, like I said, a defense, you'll get 2 dodges, but you can't take aims, which is cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
His card kind of has a lot of, if I do this, I get this. If I do this, I do get this, but I can't do this. It's kind of neat. They also introduced I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I got to point out in these card arts that during the stream he was talking like, oh, we put him in this Revenge of the Sith gear because everyone thought, oh, we're gonna put him in his clone gear, but he only really wears that in like the early parts of the show, and then every picture you see of him so far in these card arts, that's what he's wearing.
Exactly.
So I'm like, oh, come on. Like, I kind of wanted that to go with, I don't know, that just looks like his iconic Clone Wars look to me. And then, the other one just looks like Revenge of the Sith. Even though, he is wearing this in, like, Season 6, Season 7. It's just, like, I don't know. It looks like Clone Wars Anakin to me when I see that. And I want to be able to run that next to Obi-Wan. That's going to be a stupidly expensive list, but, man, I just want to do it.
You got to run it.
I got to try it once.
You're not Republic if you don't run those 2 together.
And I have one short note I was going to point out earlier when you were talking about lightsaber styles. They were talking about how like everyone's going to have a different lightsaber style and all the different characters that have that are going to be represented with them, which I think is awesome that they've made these keywords that are specific for these Jedi and these dark side users who have different lightsaber styles, because that is awesome to see it represented mechanically. And so, like, when Ahsoka comes out, she's going to probably have Jar-Kai of some kind. When Mace comes out, he's going to have Vapad of some kind. We've got Makashi and Suresu already in the game. I'm waiting to see, like, Shicho. And we have, if we ever get Yoda for the Republic, he's going to have a Taru.
Exactly.
It's going to be cool. It's going to be really neat to see. The other thing that excites me for is, like, I think they've said it at one point in one interview that I don't remember, but they were talking about at some point getting a build your own commander kind of unit.
That would be really
it would
cool.
be really neat to make your own like Jedi commander and then figure out how much those lightsaber styles are worth as points, and maybe you get to choose the keywords that your character gets, and then you could like choose your own lightsaber style for your own like Jedi OC commander that you're making,
There was a lot of those guys running around there on Geonosis that were unnamed and you didn't know who they were.
Oh yeah.
So you could beat any one of those, just a generic, lightsaber wielding general captain.
Yeah, I have some Jedi in mind for my 269th clones that I've made. I have some in mind for them that I would love to run. But anyway, continue as you were.
All right, and the cool thing with I don't remember if Maul had one of these or not. They're coming out with these cards. Everybody, when they were watching the cast, was like, "What's that brown card? What's that brown card?" Well, they came out and said it's called a flaw card. So each character, a lot of them, I guess, are going to have these flaw cards. And when at the start of the round or the start of the game, you'll give it to your opponent, and it'll have certain things on it that when they happen, you can play this flaw card. Like Anakin could be Palpatine, it could be his mother. It could be Padme, it could be just about anything because they never revealed exactly what it was, but it's going to give your opponent a little bit of a plus against you.
So I think they said you play it during the command phase, but it's not in replacement of your command card.
Right.
So I think it happens like at the start of the turn.
I don't know if you're going to have a choice that you can throw that in there or not. I don't know if you gain points or how they're going to do it because they really didn't go into it other than they said that was going to be something that's going to be with the coming sets. I thought that was kind of...
he comes with... There will be one with him, and there will be one with Maul as well. I forgot to mention that as well. Yeah. So we had we've been speculating a lot about these. Like me and my roommates have been speculating a lot about these upcoming releases and these flaw cards. And so I totally thought we could just you have pointed out that they're probably going to be on like. Maybe it'll be Palpatine or maybe it'll be Padme or his mom or something. And that's like, that's around like where I'm maybe thinking, but it depends if they're going to be super specific triggers or if they're going to be things that'll happen like every game. So like if it's a specific trigger, first off, if it's, I really hope it's just like Palpatine and the card is just called Do It.
That would be awesome.
That would be great.
That would be
And it's just like your opponent like chooses one of your actions or something like that. Like I have no idea how detrimental these cards are going to be, or if there's going to be a specific trigger and a specific follow up as to what they're going to do.
And that's what's scary about them. You
also,
don't
you
know
didn't
what they're going to do.
you didn't speculate that it could be sand.
That could be. That's gonna really. That's probably the worst of all of them, right?
Exactly.
That gets everywhere.
My roommate Jared's been doing a lot of speculation. He's a new player, but he's still been doing a lot of like really cool ideas, and I'm gonna get into one of them later when we get into the speculation segment. But we've got but like he was thinking like maybe he's got to get revenge for somebody. So maybe you play this. Maybe it reads like at the start of the round, if one of your friendly units died last round, like maybe you have to Anakin has to spend this turn going after the unit that killed him. So like if it was Padme, or maybe if it was clones, and maybe they were killed by Grievous, or maybe they were killed by droid, just like a droid squad or something, you play this card, he's got to spend both of his actions in whatever way it is most beneficial to engage them in combat and try and kill them. I don't know how they're going to like mechanically write that out, because you can't just leave it the way that I just worded it.
Right. No. They're all going to look like sand people. That's what it is. They're all going to look like sand people.
Everyone is sand people.
Everybody is a sand person for that round. There you go.
So Maul, he, in the same vein, he was saying if they're going to be real specific, then maybe Maul's flaw card is if you're playing a Republic list that contains a certain Obi-Wan Kenobi in it. In which case, the flaw card is just called Kenobi.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be so cool. There's so many things that they could do to you, depending on even what they do. Like I say, we're in the early fledgling states of, yeah, this cards exist, but we have no freaking clue what it does. So there's going to be all kinds of thoughts out there, good and bad. I think it's going to make the game a lot more fun.
Did we get any cool other releases for the Republic, Bob?
We got the clone specialists. Let's drop down to those guys. We'll talk about Anakin later on some more when we know a little bit more about it. This is what everybody's doing. Like you said, for the droids, this is what everybody's want. When we first got the Republic out, I'm like, well, we don't have any healers. Well, what are we going to do? We don't have any medics. There's medics. I mean, Jinx is out there, and all the other guys. I think it was Jinx was a medic. But there were medics always on the field. There was always like repair guys and stuff out on the field and stuff, and your commanders and all that good stuff. Well, we get them in the set, which is really awesome. It's going to be cool. You're going to get an engineer who's wearing. We were talking the other night, and everybody was trying to figure out what kind of armor this dude has on, and it's actually, if you look at the saber tanks, it's the same armor for the engineer guy. It's just kind of a heavy duty. Kind of, in the mix, got extra armor on the front and on the shoulders, a little bit of a different helmet. And that's one other thing that we learned. They're all going to come with phase 1, phase 2 helmets. So you'll be able to pick an actual clone head. And I think they said they changed it around to one guy's got kind of a mohawk, and one guy's got a shaved head, so he's bald. And then you'll get a couple of guys that have the hair like everybody else.
Uh-huh.
I think it's cool that the commander actually has the hollow puck, so he's actually on a holocall with
the models
another
are
clone.
Beautiful.
They're absolutely amazing. The medic comes with a backpack. If you look real close at the picture, you can see he's even got the red markings. They painted it on the shoulders. Well, I've got some decals from a company a friend of mine gifted to me. And I was like, man, I got to get a medic. We're never going to get a medic. And boom, we get a medic. So I'm like, yay, I got someplace to put that decal. So you can make him actually look like, I swear to God, I think it's Jinx. But you can make a Cody out of the commander. It looks just like Cody. It's even got the radio antenna on the shoulder. Like I said, the engineer looks like a tank driver. The cool thing with the engineer and the medic, if you notice on the picture, they both have guns. Therefore, they can actually shoot. They're not non-combatants like the Imperial ones. You can actually get out there, heal somebody, and take some pot shots, which is amazingly cool. Now, they only can heal 1 point, but, it's worth it that you're getting an extra gun in there. I'm not sure on the points costs on them yet.
Probably expensive.
Probably. The clone commander is also, he's 55 points if you run him as a commander. But that's okay. He's gonna give you some stuff there. They don't really go into detail on that. They're both the keywords. They're gonna have new keywords on both of the commanders. So the droid commander will have its own set of keywords, as will the Republic commander. So those are going to be really cool to look at. They're also going to come with their own cards, their pip cards. We get to see the one pip card for the clones, just like we did for the droids, and it's called Synchronized Offense. It's one vehicle, Republic only. After a friendly vehicle is issued an order, choose one friendly clone trooper at range 1 to 2 and issue that unit order. And I'm not going to recap it there or re-go through it, but it's the same thing with 5s. You can give 5s that order and pass out a couple of tokens because he has the coordinate keyword also. The cool thing is that you give your tank an order, you throw one at 5s, he throws another one out, and then he throws out another one because he has coordinate. So it's kind of cool. I like that everybody's getting the same stuff on each side, which makes it a little bit more balanced.
Yeah,
although,
and it's cool because they're both getting they both have stuff that trigger off of more units getting orders, so it just kind of balanced itself out that way.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a good time to be a Republic and a droid player, and I'm sure when the Rebels and the Empire get their stuff that they speculated, because I guess they're supposed to get some more units, which we're going to talk about in a minute here. Our guesses, because they never really came out and said, but they gave us a few clues. That's about all I have on those guys. I think they're going to be a lot of fun. They're going to make the droids and the Republic a lot stronger.
One last thing, Bob. Could you picture this? A tank and 1 or 2 RTs on the Republic side. The 2 RTs have HQ uplink. You run 5s near the tank, you run another squad near 5s, and you run 2 clone squads near the RTs. You play synchronized offensive. You give your order to the tank gives an order to 5s. 5s gives an order to another squad that's near him. Then you tap HQ uplink on both of those RTs, and then they give orders to the clones near them. And now you've got a 1 pip. Yeah, I was gonna say you've made a 1 pip into either a droid line, or you've got a 1 pip that's given you what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 orders, and it's 4 nuts. Of those are clone units that can fire support.
It's just nuts what you can do. Then you tap your tank, who can also share the tokens and go from there. Well,
like I said, you gave the order to the tank.
Right.
The tank gives it to 5s, and 5s gives it to someone else, and yeah, so you've just got like 6 or 7 orders off of that 1 pip card that just gave it to 1 vehicle.
It's just crazy nuts.
And most of them are clones.
Exactly.
So, fun
Look
stuff.
for that to get neutered very quickly once everybody figures that one out.
The only card that we haven't gone over that also got spoiled in the article was a bit of gear that I'm going to love the heck out of, called Portable Scanner.
That thing rocks.
It is 6 points. It is a gear slot, and you gain Take Cover 1. And the B1s can ignore the gear upgrade. It is basically the dodge version of the electro binoculars, because it gives you Take Cover 1. So you could either give that to a character who can take a gear and you just want to be able to hand out dodge tokens. You could give that to your generic rebel leader and give him Take Cover 2. You could give it to Leia and have her have Take Cover 3. So lots of cool stuff. There's lots of cool options there. And then you could give that to, anyone not a rebel, obviously. But
exactly.
Rebels love them dodge tokens, I can tell you that.
They be dodging fools.
Oh.
Or dead.
Is that just about it for Gen Con releases, Bob?
I think so. I think we covered everything. They didn't really give us a lot, but they did. It was just in little chunks and little pieces of units, but they gave us a lot on a few units, which was kind of neat. Kind of neat. I went in thinking there was going to be, just squat loads like last year. There was just all kinds of stuff they told us.
Mm-hmm.
This year, we got 4 units. We're like, oh man, what 4? What? No. And then they actually give us a little bit more detail, which was a lot appreciated.
We just have to put in more work this time, Bob, and then we have it.
Yeah.
And then we get all of our our stuff. We just had to do more work this year.
Exactly.
So, last bit that we wanted to go over here. Last formal bit, then I have one small informal bit, that at the end of the stream, there was a little thing that was said, that was speculation for 4 new units that are going to be of the Galactic Civil War variety. They will be of the Empire, and they will be of the Rebels. 2 of them are highly requested characters, and then 2 of them are not.
But one of these things that is not one of these highly requested characters, but is one of these units, whether it be Rebel or Imperial, is a thing that, quote, we didn't make it up. It is canon. But we haven't seen anyone ask for it yet.
That could be anything. There's so much stuff in the Star Wars universe that's background stuff.
I disagree. I don't think it could be anything, Bob, because I've seen just about everything requested in Legion by now. So it's really, unless, they just haven't seen the one or two requests for it, I'm really curious as to what they could be. Well, first off, I feel like this is going to be way easier to speculate, but Bob, what's your take on what do you think these highly requested characters are? If you got one guess for Rebels and one guess for Empire, what would your top guess be?
They showed a picture when they were showing the models, and everybody saw it. They blew it up. Everybody speculated about what it is. It was a miniature. Looked like it had a flowing cape on it and was kind of flowing and stuff. So I'm going to say we're going to get Lando, however you want to say it. I call him Lando. Kind of like
anyone who calls him Londo? Have they seen the movies?
Yeah, it's Lando. Because Han made fun of him just the way he called him Han.
Yeah.
And no, it's Han. No, okay, Han. Okay, Lando. But I'm pretty sure that could only be him because no one else would have that billowing cape look to it. I think they darkened it out or they primed it black or something to where you couldn't really see a lot of detail, but the outline to me just screamed Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, man, they used that what's it called? The darker than black 3.0 or whatever. That's just so black you can't even see any light. It doesn't reflect any light.
It doesn't do nothing. But it was down there with all the gray ones like the Anakins and the Mauls. Yep. But yeah, that's what we're getting. So just everybody get ready for Calrissian to come into the play.
That is also my leading speculative guess for the Rebel side. For the Empire side, I have to guess. I've got two main guesses, but my personal bias for one that I really want to see more is going to take precedence. I want Thrawn. I've wanted Thrawn since this game came out, man.
And a lot of people have been throwing shade at that, man. But I could see it.
He's been highly requested. He's a highly requested character. I feel like it's got to be Thrawn time.
That would be really cool. That or Tarkin. Tarkin really didn't, unless you go back to his really early career. He wasn't a ground pounder. He was on a ship.
Yeah, but he could ground pound. That's something that a lot of people have not I've seen a lot of people just be like, "Oh, Tarkin's on a ship all the time," and I'm like,
no,
"Yeah, well, if you read his novel, if you go back and you learn who Tarkin was, or you read the comics or something, Tarkin grew up as Bear Grylls. Just so you know, and he could scrap you. So I'm not afraid. I have no doubt in my mind we could see him in Legion as a commander. If we can see Palpatine.
Yeah, if Palpatine's out there, we should be able to get. Because if you look, Thrawn's been in a lot of shows. I mean, and he was on the ground. He was on the ground with Anakin, running around Black Spire. He was there. He was running around on Rebels. He led that army into that tunnel. I forget what episode on Rebels that was, but he's a ground pounder too. Just because he's an admiral doesn't mean he doesn't get dirty in the dirt.
I would say I would say Thrawn even more than Tarkin should be on the ground, boots on the ground, because that was Thrawn's leadership style. Thrawn's leadership style is going with his men and being a part of the combat. And he shares the same fate as his men, and that's what he believes a good leader is.
Exactly. I think
he doesn't believe he doesn't believe in a good leader sitting back and watching from far, far away in safety. He says he's like, no, I share the same fate as these fighters and my men. Like they're a part of me.
Exactly.
So he goes boots on the ground with them. And so I feel like we could see him, and man, am I ever excited for if it would be Lando and Thrawn, which is Lando is also my top guess for Rebels. If it was Lando and Thrawn, imagine the mirror release of how cool that looks, because that's Thrawn, the most speculating. He's the Sherlock Holmes of Star Wars. He can predict everything and figure everything out, and he's this master tactician. And then on the flip side, you have Lando, who's just one of the biggest gamblers of all of Star Wars, and he's
a master of luck.
Everything is luck with him. And then with Thrawn, everything is completely planned out. Like that's such a cool duality.
I love it. I think it's going to be cool. My guess for Imperial, if I had to pick one, if it wasn't Thrawn or Tarkin, I would have to say Callus, Agent Callus. And I could almost see them making him a dual character to where you could switch him over to Rebel, kind of like R2-D2 and 3PO being able to play in a Republic or a Rebel. I think that would be just really hot if you could take Callus and do him as his Imperial version, the staunch officer, the guy that's going to get it done. Oh, they made me look bad, and now I really have to go hunt them down. And then the I don't say the softer side, but the more, oh, well, maybe we weren't right. Maybe the Empire was, an imperial, dictatorship, and I chose wrong. I was blinded by what they were doing with me and for me, because he was solid Empire right up until they left him in that hole with Zeb, and that kind of turned the tide there, and he kind of got softer on him.
Well, you know what my problem? You know my problem with that is you have is they didn't do that with Iden.
I know.
I was a little upset.
I was real surprised. I'm real surprised they didn't do that with her.
She's built like a Rebel character, man.
She is.
Like, have you seen her? She has Rebel stats.
I honestly got to see the Battlefront game with her in it the other night. I had never seen it because I don't have any of the systems to play that stuff at my house. But man, that was so cool watching her running around as a Rebel. And I could see that. Maybe they'll come out with an extra pack or something that'll let you change her to Rebel. Just as a card pack.
She's built like a Rebel. I was so mad. I was like, well, she's going to be in all my Empire lists from now on just because she's built like a rebel character, so that's what I'm
she's got red armor. I mean, other than that, she is a rebel character.
Sabine's got red armor.
Yeah, Sabine's got red armor, and Luke's got red armor, but you don't see very many of them. So, I mean, she'll be your pick because you can throw somebody in with red armor. Yeah. We'll get into red armor and rebels like next episode that we do with Clay and Ren, because that's going to be awesome.
So we've got I think the other speculations that we had was like, I'd like to see. Everyone's guessing we're going to see Operative Han at some point. Like a younger Han, like Solo Han.
That would be cool. And
then we see 3 more command cards for him, a different loadout, like an operative loadout for him, and then we get to see Han back on the table because, man, I love playing Han in casual. I've never seen him anywhere in competitive though, so it kind of bothers me. I want to see him back. And and me personally, I would love to see the Phoenix crew, man. I would love to see. I want Hera so bad in Legion, man. I can't even tell you.
Hera would be awesome, and all those guys. That would just make a great five unit group that they could.
I know, like how let me run my 600 points worth of Phoenix crew.
Yeah,
because I want it. The Ghost crew is so cool. Like, give it to me.
I think you should have a group card, and then you should have a singular card to where you could run them individually. Like Sabine, you already got her. But make one for each of the crew that's left, and then have a group card. They get some sort of bonus or something if you run them all together in a group.
I think they should just synergize well if they all get run together.
Exactly.
They have anything else like that. They don't have any like specific list stuff like that, like they have in Warhammer. But It might be cool. Like seeing Hera and Chopper would definitely be like a detachment of Hera.
Exactly.
And then, I don't know how they're going to tackle Kanan and Ezra. I don't think you should make them codependent on each other.
No, they're their own persons. Because
I feel like Ezra. I would love it if Ezra had covert ops. Make him like Cassian does. Make him a commander or an operative, and then if you make him an operative, he has infiltrate. Like that just seems so Ezra.
I would like to see Ezra and Chopper in a group have a distraction mode. Because they were always beating on each other, and that's where your eye went, is them beating the heck out of each other. And the same with Zeb. I mean, Ezra and Zeb should have it also, just to distract people. You have to shoot them or whatever. Kind of like 3PO. Oh, well, that's annoying. Let's kill it.
Yeah, and then like on the Empire side, I think you'd see Agent Callus or maybe Gar Saxon.
You could Gar Saxon. You could go Pyre. Was it Pyre? She was the governor.
You're talking about Linda Price.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She might be a weird one.
I doubt we see her, but you know what? I could see it one day, but I feel like they have too many characters.
They have too many other stuff. I'm just thinking of
Imperial. That they're gonna do first.
I'm just thinking of weird Imperial stuff that you just don't think of.
All right, well, if you want to think of weird stuff, Bob, let's move on.
Oh gosh.
What do we think is this made up or not made up, is canon, but hasn't seen it requested in all of Legion yet unit?
Do it.
What do you think? What's your shot in the dark? Bob, I want us to be the closest people to guessing whatever this crazy unit is. I haven't heard anyone taking like bold shots in the dark at this yet that I've agreed with.
I don't even remember what I was thinking to do it because we went off on such other stuff. Why don't you go first and see if I can remember, or if you remember what I said, because we
Okay,
discussed
well
it.
well, I mean, like, I think one of my roommates first said like Bothan spies as like a
Everybody
thought,
said
but like
Bothan spies.
I feel like I've heard people say Bothan spies. But okay, so here's my legit guess, which I'm gonna solidify more later. This is the start of my theory. If it's a rebel, it's either rebel or imperial. We know that much, and it is not made up. It is canon, which means people probably have the common person probably has to check to make sure, and then we haven't seen anyone ask for it. That is a big list, but it's also a narrow list. So we have to figure out, it's a sweet spot we have to find. So for my rebel side, if it's rebel, I'm guessing that it's some obscure alien species that like the rebellion has saved at some point, and they are going to be contributing their forces to the rebellion, kind of like a sub-faction, kind of like the Mandalorian Resistance would be. And their race or something gives them some unique benefit or some unique bonus that would play into that they could gift to the rebels that would make them an obscure but mechanically new and intriguing unit. And if it were on the Empire side, I want to say it's some kind of obscure stormtrooper that we've only ever seen like maybe once or twice, or maybe seen in comics or novels or something. So like I'm thinking maybe lava troopers or magma troopers. We don't see that much. And
That
those
might
are kind
work,
of questions sometimes. There's the new canon, the dark troopers. There's the kind that not the old kind, sadly, but the kind that we saw with what's his name?
Cal?
No, with Thrawn.
With Thrawn.
When he was sparring with him in that one episode.
Squad. I can't remember what the heck that was.
I think those are just like new Death Troopers, basically, or not Death Troopers, Dark Troopers.
That could be, yeah. I'm just totally
either
missing
those, or maybe we see a specific unit that's like for Thrawn. Like if it's Thrawn that we're getting, like maybe we get some kind of Thrawn. Like maybe we get Chimera Troopers or something like that. That are specific to the 7th Fleet.
Dude. Nogri.
That's another thought I had, was like maybe we get a group of Nogri to go with Thrawn.
That would be sweet. I didn't just thought about it.
And you could have them led by Rook.
Yep. I could see Rook sweet. and Vrook and
I don't feel like I've seen anyone request specifically Nogri. I feel like I've seen people request Rook, but not that many. Not so many that I think that it's out of the realm of possibility.
If they're doing Thrawn, they have to do him. That would be sweet. That would be so cool. I didn't even think about that till just now. And I don't even know why that popped into my head, but Nogri would be awesome because it just popped in my head, that whole scene where if you haven't read the books, sorry, where in the old canon, they killed him and he's Thrawn sitting in his chair. And they've drawn it out so beautifully that you see this little drop of red on the middle of his white uniform, and then you see just the very tip of the blade sticking out. And when Rook killed him, and it's like, oh god, the Nogri would be just beautiful. That would just be so freaking cool to run a squad of those because they're just savages. When they turned him, Rook wasn't, but the rest of them were. They were just bloodthirsty little monkeys. And man, unleash a set of those out on the field. That would just be totally cool. Totally neat.
Bob, so we've got our shot in the dark is right now some obscure rebel race or alien race that joined the rebels.
Don't forget Twilight Squad too. Company.
Yeah,
that was my weird one from the books, Battlefront books.
So either them, those are our shot in the darks at rebels, and then our shot in the dark is either some kind of obscure stormtrooper that we've only ever seen once or twice, or Nogri.
That's my guesses.
I think that's what we're going to stick with right now. This is phase 1 of our theory. All right, so Bob, we got one last thing that I want to touch on that I thought was a really neat idea, and then we'll wrap this one up.
Very cool.
Because we are stretching a little longer than we intended to, but that's okay. That's okay. We got lots of content in.
It's a special episode.
It's special. It's Gen Con. We always make an exception for Gen Con, even when Gen Con doesn't make an exception for us.
Exactly.
I'm just kidding. Gen Con dude, they held on so long. Anyway, before they canceled. Anywho, we have to
touch on this idea. So we were playing with the flaw cards. We haven't seen them yet, so we don't know how severe they are or how specific their trigger is. But me and my roommate Jared, we're playing around with some ideas, and we think we came up with a cool, neat idea of how you could implement everyone's favorite Star Wars character, Jar Jar Binks. Onto the Republic side, Jar Jar comes in as an operative. Or, I don't know, maybe they make him a Special Forces, and maybe just a one unit. But anyway, you throw Jar Jar in. He does not contribute any command cards. Instead, he comes with 3 flaw cards that you give to your opponent. And your opponent gets to play those flaw Jar Jar cards at any time. Now, you might be asking, why the heck would I take Jar Jar if he always comes with flaw cards? Well, Jar Jar is going to give you points back into your list. So he's going to be like negative 50 points. And then you take him, and you're going to be able to add more dudes into your and more upgrades into your list at the cost of Jar Jar comes in. And yes, he's an activation, but he has these detrimental flaw cards that come into play. So maybe your opponent gets to decide like where he goes and stuff. So maybe Jar Jar hands out light buffs of some kind. Maybe he can give out a dodge token or some kind of token or a surge or something.
He did do good. It just was in a bad way.
Yeah, he did some good. So it's like you give him dodge tokens, or like he can hand out like surges or something. But then you have these so maybe your opponent can decide where he moves, because if you control him, you're going to be like, oh, he's got these flaw cards that are going to be detriment to me. I need to move him away. I need to get him like to the corner of the map and just not have him there. No. There has to be some kind of incentive for him to be there. So maybe he hands out some kind of token, so you're going to move him up with somebody. Or maybe your opponent gets to decide where he goes. And maybe he puts Jar Jar next to a unit that he wants to slow down. Maybe your leader, like Obi-Wan, and he's being like, Misa can help too. Or he's moving with some clones, and he's just like trying to contribute to them. But then you got these flaw cards that are like, pick a unit that's within range 1 to 2 of Jar Jar, or like within range 1 of Jar Jar, and they get 3 suppression tokens or something like that.
Or their movement gets down to one instead of 2.
Or Jared was saying something like he was like, I don't know how this might be a little broken, but it might be really funny as well. If there's a unit that has grenades equipped that they just go off,
that would be a little bit broken.
that'd be broken. But he was like, it'd be hilarious if it was just a group that had smoke tokens.
That would be funny.
It'd just be like, oh, sorry, and then just the smoke just poof everywhere, and there's Jar Jar. Come on, man. But then like the incentive to not have him like be a total detriment would be, have him give you some buffs, and then have him do something that no other unit in the game has been able to do, give you points back into your list, which I think is a neat idea. So Bob, what do you think? That seemed like a super cool, really doable idea?
No. Yes. Absolutely not. I don't want him anywhere near me, but yeah, it might be fun to play just to see how it works. But yeah, that's the great thing about this game. There's so much stuff that you can do, and some of it's going to work and some of it's just not. But that's what's really neat, is people aren't afraid to try stuff. And they saw that okay, everybody's comfortable playing the game now, let's throw in flaw cards, or let's do this, or let's make it to where the characters progress through the game and they get better as they go, like Anakin. And that's, I think, what's going to be the longevity of this game, is when you think that it's getting a little bit stale, Davies and everybody at FFGs goes, no, we're not going to do that. Let's throw this monkey wrench in there and see what they do with it. And there's a lot of playtesters out there, so they look at that and sometimes they're like, no, nobody's going to go for that, or yeah, that's a great idea. And they listen to the playtesters, they listen to the forums, they look at everything. So I mean, I could see that as a viable idea that they throw out there. Everybody going to like it? Not everybody, but some people are, because some people like Jar Jar. Some people like, dude, I just thought of something else. Ewoks. What if they throw a squad of Ewoks out there?
No, that's been requested to death.
I know, and I'm just, things are coming into my mind. I'd love to see a squad of Ewoks.
I mean, unless they were releasing those alongside Nogri.
That would be awesome.
And so you have a creature. So that's like their mirror creature on each side.
I'm sure Jawas have been thrown out there too, so that would be cool to get like a creature pack. That would be really fun.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's
all right. Well, I think we should wrap this one up here, Bob, before we start going too deep into speculation land.
Yeah, somebody get us an exit sign because we're ready to get off this highway.
Alrighty. Oh, I didn't know we were driving. Am I driving?
You're driving. You always drive it.
All right. Well, shoot.
I'm along for the ride. I got my feet up on the dashboard.
All right. Well, this is our exit here, so I'm gonna turn the blinker on and. All right. Well, thanks for listening to Dice Time today. I hope you had a dice time listening to our bonus episode, and we hope to come back to you next time with a whole bunch of super cool stuff like Clan Ren, because I know we're gonna be talking about the models, just specifically the models forever.
Exactly, and ARC troopers will be out, so everybody will have their ARCs and having them on their flight stands and the different modeling stuff, and maybe we'll do some models and throw them out on Facebook for you guys to see what we did with ours and maybe give you some ideas.
All right, everybody, thanks for listening in. Hope you had a dice time, and take care. Go make today even better.
Thanks, guys.